She assumed he was just another homeless father, standing alone in the snow with a crying baby in his arms. She didn't know his name. She didn't know his past, but there was something in his gaze that made her believe in him. As the days slipped into weeks, one question refused to leave her mind. Who was this man really? And why did it feel as though he carried a secret far too heavy for words? His wife had died giving birth, leaving behind more than just a newborn. What had he abandoned? And what was he searching for? Stay with me until the end to discover what happened next. And let us know which country you're listening from. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Stay with me, Caleb, just a little longer. The icy wind whipped through the empty streets of Toledo, Ohio, when Rachel Bennett, a 32-year-old preschool teacher, spotted a man waiting at a bus stop. He clutched a tiny infant wrapped in nothing more than a thin blanket. Her chest tightened. The baby's cries pierced the cold night, his face red and raw from the chill. Rachel hesitated, then hurried across the street. "Sir," she called. The man turned toward her. His face looked exhausted. Hollow cheeks, bloodshot eyes, his coat soaked through with snow. The baby whimpered in his grip. "You'll freeze out." "Here," Rachel said. "Please come inside." "Rachel, are you out of your mind?" whispered her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Loretta Jenkins, when she noticed the stranger following Rachel into their building. "You don't know this man. He could be dangerous. Look at them," Rachel replied, pointing at the baby. "That child won't make it through the night in this cold." Inside her modest apartment, Rachel boiled water and warmed a bottle. The man's hands shook as he accepted it for the baby. "My name is Jason," he said quietly. "Jason Miller. And this is Caleb." "How old is he?" Rachel asked. 3 months. "His mother?" "She didn't survive." Rachel didn't press further. The grief in his tone said enough. She offered him the couch for the night, and he accepted with quiet relief. Caleb, now fed and warm, nestled into Rachel's arms and drifted into sleep almost instantly. The following morning, Rachel found Jason already repairing the dripping faucet in her kitchen. Over the next several days, he replaced her bathroom. Light patched the cracked drywall and even coaxed heat back into her sluggish radiator. Caleb quickly grew attached to Rachel, stretching out his tiny arms whenever she entered the room. Even Loretta, who had first disapproved, admitted the baby was a delight. Yet Rachel couldn't ignore the odd details. Jason spoke with an educated, refined manner. His posture didn't resemble that of a construction worker. One afternoon, while doing his laundry, she stumbled upon a luxury watch hidden in his coat pocket. Another time, she spotted him discreetly using a sleek iPhone, though he usually carried only an old flip phone. "Who are you really, Jason?" she often wondered. But she didn't ask. Not yet. One bitterly cold evening when the heater failed. Again, Jason invited her to share the couch and blankets. "I won't cross any lines," he promised gently. "It's just warmer this way." Rachel lay beside him, her heart racing. Caleb slept peacefully in his bassinet nearby. For the first time in a long while, she felt strangely safe. Jason was falling in love, and it frightened him. Rachel cared for Caleb as though he were her own child. She never interrogated Jason, never demanded answers about his past. She simply showed kindness, humor, and sincerity. Still, Jason kept retreating. He couldn't bear to reveal the truth. His real name was Dr. Jason Preston, CEO of St. Mary's Memorial Hospital in Chicago, the very hospital where his wife, Alyssa, had died during childbirth. After her death, everything unraveled. He discovered her secret messages. Alyssa had been unfaithful for more than a year. The baby she carried might not even be his. Rumors spread through the hospital. Reporters circled like vultures. The board urged him to remain silent to protect the hospital's reputation. But Jason couldn't. He abandoned the mansion, the boardroom, and his career, disappearing with the only innocent one in the scandal, Caleb. One Saturday, while Rachel folded laundry, her hand brushed against something heavy in Jason's coat pocket. She pulled out a solid gold watch engraved with the initials JP. Her heart lurched. When Jason returned, she confronted him. Jason, or should I say, Dr. Preston? His face turned pale. How long were you planning to deceive me? She demanded. Jason sank into a chair and revealed everything. Alyssa's betrayal, the doubts about Caleb's paternity, the humiliation. He endured in his own hospital. I wasn't only escaping the board, he said, voice hollow. I was running from myself. From the idea of raising a child who might not be mine. But he's all I have. And you didn't have to care for him, but you did. Rachel's throat tightened. She turned away, unable to respond. Please. Say something, he begged. You should go, she whispered. Jason nodded, tears glistening in his eyes. I'm sorry. He packed a small bag, gathered Caleb, who cried endlessly as he left, and disappeared into the night. Days passed, then weeks. Rachel tried to move forward, yet Caleb's crib remained in her room, untouched. She couldn't bear to dismantle it. Then one evening, Loretta collapsed in the hallway, a heart attack. Rachel rushed her to the hospital, where doctors insisted she needed immediate surgery, costing over $100,000. Rachel was devastated. She sat in the waiting area, clutching Loretta's insurance forms when a nurse approached. Your patient has been moved to a private cardiac suite, the nurse informed her. The expenses have been covered by a benefactor. A surgeon is flying in from Chicago. Rachel blinked. Who? The nurse only smiled. Back home, Rachel discovered an envelope in Loretta's nightstand. Inside were $50,000 in cash and a note. For Loretta, for Caleb, for you, JP. Her hands shook as she dialed the phone. Hello? Jason's voice was groggy. It's me, Rachel whispered. It's Loretta. She's in surgery. I know, he said softly. She'll be fine. I arranged everything. Why are you doing this? Because I love you, Jason replied, and I love the boy you chose to love, even though he might not be mine or yours either. It doesn't matter anymore, Rachel murmured. He's mine. You taught me that, Jason said firmly. 2 weeks later, Rachel flew to Chicago for a National Early Education Award ceremony. As she stood under the bright lights, receiving Ohio's Early Educator of the Year plaque, her eyes scanned the crowded auditorium. And then she saw him. In the very last row, near the exit, stood Jason. He looked different. Polished suit, neatly trimmed hair, confident posture. But his eyes were the same, warm, haunted, full of regret, but also of hope. Her breath caught. She clutched the plaque as if to steady her trembling hands. After the ceremony, she stepped outside into the cool night. Jason waited, holding a bouquet of soft white lilies, her favorite. I'm proud of you, he said, offering the flowers, gently. His voice was steady, reverent. You've become everything I always believed you could be. She accepted the bouquet, then met his eyes. Are you still running? Jason held her gaze, unflinching. The wind tugged at his coat, but he stood firm. No, he said at last. Not anymore. Her chest quivered with relief. With a nod and tears brimming, she whispered, Then take me home. And for the first time in a long while, Jason smiled. Because, at last, he had a home to return to. They were married in Toledo on the very date they had first met, one snowy December night. Jason now split his time, half the week in Chicago managing the hospital, the other half in Ohio, where he helped Rachel open a non-profit early childhood center. Caleb, now 4, raced through the halls each day. He called her Mama Rachel and Jason Daddy. Rachel was pregnant with their daughter. I never thought I'd be a father again, Jason murmured one snowy evening as they sat together on the porch. But this feels real. It is, Rachel said softly. Because love doesn't need blood. It only needs a choice. And you chose us. I did, he whispered. She smiled. And I always will. After hearing Jason and Rachel's journey, we want to hear yours. If someone loved your child as their own, even without a blood tie, would that be enough to trust them with your heart? Share your honest thoughts in the comments below. And thank you for listening.